contributing towards society's development and nation's development. And of course, they ensure as a society and as governments, state and union, that their health is looked after, needs are looked after, and so on and so forth. So that is clearly an emerging reality for India. Under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister, this very issue of how we prepare for increasingly aging Indian society is a very high priority of discussions, ideation within the government of India. You heard from Amitji about the schemes and how we're visualizing how to tackle the challenges. The policy for the elderly is being looked at. As also you may be aware that the Niti Aayog had presented, put in the public domain, a monograph on senior care paradigm, which was about a year and a half ago. But in follow-up to that, we are now looking at various aspects of ensuring welfare of the elderly in a very systematic manner in partnership with the Ministry of Social Justice and Economy. And here I would say that the reports that we received from many stakeholders have been very extremely well. And I particularly put on record the reports that we received from Atalji and Team Hustling in this particular regard. And thank you for contributing toward that, and the new two reports add further value to the aspect that we have covered in the report. So the first part is that Government of India is systematically examining this whole issue. So all this comes at a very appropriate time. There is a work being done for policy, there is work being done for various aspects of the welfare of the elderly, preparing the nation as a whole for increasing responsibility for the aging population. We are learning how we've also looked at how other nations have addressed this issue and looking at the best practices how just to be done. So many aspects have been mentioned already. Let me just touch upon two or three. One is we should keep in mind that the elderly are respected elderly, should above all like to be in their own home settings. The Nasi survey had asked this question from the elderly and said, where are you most happy to be? And culturally and even otherwise, each one of us would perhaps like to be in our own home setting with the family. So one aspect is, how can we enable families with all the changes, ecosystems, and the stresses and the opportunities, enable the families to look after their elderly better? I think that is so very important. And how we can create a culture that majority of the elderly stay with the families, they're looked after by the family, they get the love and affection. And how we all can enable it. What are the things that we can do using technology, using support system, using affordable inputs, people interface with the opportunities for let's say connecting with socially and providing care through telehealth and so on. So think about how we can enable the families to look after their elderly effectively. And this would mean commodities, this would mean support, this would mean also encouraging and guiding younger people and their families to do a good job. It would also mean that if the elderly has some special needs, which not necessarily needs to be moving to a hospital setting, how can we educate the families? How can we provide technical products, assistive technologies, other technologies affordable in a way so that they are looked after in the home settlement. They don't fall. Their nutrition is looked after. They are connected to the world in their own way, perhaps through electronic media and so on. So I would say, keep in mind that this is important in your work. But surely, there will be elderly who will need to be in certain elderly homes. How do we look after them? And here, firstly, our work with regard to standardization is very laudable, and obviously also refer to ensuring that we have self-regulation in having these habitats, these entities which provide care and are accountable to the client the way the clients deserve. And because it is an emerging sector, we need to do a few things to make sure that we have a framework of how this is to be done. Here, one word that Amit spoke was, think about the rural area. यहाँ बैठे हैं, रिच की नीड और है, मिडिल क्लासेस की नीड है, और what about the rural? What about the poor? I like us to think about how to create those pathways. Can self-help groups play a role? Self-help groups undertake activities, partly supported through some financing mechanism. Can they be engaged in looking after the special needs of a bedridden elderly in a village? ऐसे रास्तों को भी सोचिए. Can cooperatives be brought into the picture? Another paradigm, think tanks. आप सोचिए कि जो cooperative का framework है available, can that be harnessed for the care of the elderly, particularly those who have more difficult situation? So this is one thought process, and I'm sure there's a lot that we can go on. Financial security is extremely important. So we are here.
धन्यवाद। ऐसी खबर पाने के लिए चैनल को सब्सक्राइब